Let's just dive right into this explainer, shall we? Today we're looking at a completely fascinating duality in our natural world. We're going to explore how the exact same intense solar energy that's currently driving these massive, really dangerous atmospheric collisions across the country is actually the absolute key to planting a thriving, abundant fruit orchard by 2027. It's totally a tale of two extremes, right? First, surviving nature's immense power, and then beautifully harnessing it.
So here's our game plan for today. We'll start off with the Great Weather Divide, followed by shifting seasons and storms. Then we'll shift gears into harnessing the sun, choosing the right tree, and wrap it all up with 5 rules for planting.
All right, starting with part 1, the Great Weather Divide.
Right now, North America is caught in this massive, quite frankly dangerous split in weather patterns. And the whole thing is driven by how solar energy is interacting with our atmosphere. Up in the northern US, you've got this broad trough of low pressure. That's bringing cooler temperatures, sure, but also highly volatile, active storm patterns. Now, directly clashing with that, literally right up against it, is the southern US, where a stubborn, massive heat dome is just locking in dangerous heat, heavy humidity, and localized drought right across Texas and the Deep South.
Now here's why this really matters. This extreme temperature difference, it's not just some random coincidence. It is literally the exact fuel creating severe atmospheric instability across multiple states. Think of it like this. When you have cooler, really stormy weather in the north rubbing right up against boiling, extreme heat in the south, well, you get a highly dynamic, dangerous environment where severe storms can just rapidly develop and thrive.
Moving right along to Section 2, Shifting Seasons and Storms.
Let's look at how this turbulent system actually builds day by day, because we are definitely not just looking at a single, isolated day of bad weather here. Starting on Monday, we track a major cold front moving south from the Canadian prairies. By Tuesday, it pushes right into Kansas and Arkansas, and then by Thursday, the whole focus shifts over toward the Ohio Valley. And as this frontal boundary continuously interacts with the moisture and instability we were just talking about, it's going to spark multi-day severe threats. We're talking damaging winds, massive hail, and even isolated tornadoes across its entire path.
Now, a major flash flooding concern from the southeast all the way to the east coast over the coming days is this phenomenon called training thunderstorms. If you haven't heard of this, imagine a train on a track. One storm moves over an area, drops heavy rain, and then another storm follows the exact same path, and then another. So even if a single storm isn't all that exceptional on its own, the rapid compounding accumulation of water from this training effect causes really intense, localized flash flooding.
And looking ahead to September, the tropics are definitely heating up too. The eastern Pacific has these incredibly warm ocean waters right now. It's basically acting like high-octane rocket fuel for tropical systems to just strengthen rapidly in waves. Over in the Atlantic, though, it's all a massive game of positioning with the Bermuda High. If that high-pressure system shifts west, storms could be steered directly into the Caribbean. But if it shifts east, they curve harmlessly out into the open ocean. So it's a very delicate, high-stakes balance we're watching.
All right, let's get into Section 3, Harnessing the Sun.
So we've clearly seen the destructive power of this solar energy. But what if we pivot? What if we take all of this immense heat, the heavy rain, these diverse climate zones we just mapped out, and actually use them to our absolute advantage? By really understanding our local climate extremes, we can shift our mindset entirely, from simply surviving the weather to actively harnessing it. If you start planning this fall, that relentless heat and sunshine can literally be directed into planting a thriving, productive fruit orchard that's going to yield massive harvests by 2026 or 2027. Basically, your sunniest spot truly is your most valuable real estate.
But before we can even think about choosing our trees, you have to find your full sun zone. Now, full sun means getting around 6 to 8 or even more hours of direct sunlight every single day. Producing fruit requires an immense amount of energy. The tree uses all that sunlight to power photosynthesis, which supports literally everything, from the first flowers to the final ripening of the fruit. Listen, if you plant in weak sunlight, you're just going to end up with a beautiful tree full of green leaves and absolutely zero fruit. You've got to find the sun first.
Which brings us to Section 4, Choosing the Right Tree. Let's explore exactly which trees actually thrive under these sunny conditions, keeping in mind those specific local climates and weather extremes we tracked earlier. If you look at apples, notice how heavily dependent they are on your local climate. They require specific winter chill hours, and they very often need a completely separate, compatible partner tree just for cross-pollination. Peaches, they absolutely love strong sun.
but you have to carefully thin the fruit so the branches don't literally snap under their own weight. On the flip side, look at the pomegranate. Remember that intense southern heat dome we discussed? Pomegranates are incredibly heat and drought tolerant. That makes them your absolute best bet if you live in those sweltering southern zones.
But hey, what if your local weather is simply too volatile? Or what if you live in those colder northern troughs we discussed earlier, where deep freezes and extreme storms are just a normal Tuesday? You're probably wondering right now, is container planting or ground planting better for me?
Well, here's the breakdown. Ground planting is absolutely ideal for apples, peaches, and plums, assuming you have suitable soil and space. It allows for maximum root growth and much larger mature yields. Containers, on the other hand, are brilliant for things like figs, dwarf citrus, and for anyone in colder climates. By using a large, say 20-plus gallon container, you gain this amazing mobility. You can literally just roll your citrus tree inside before a damaging freeze hits. You get that protection, but the trade-off is that container plants dry out way faster and they're going to require far more frequent watering.
And finally, Section 5, 5 Rules for Planting.
Once you've analyzed your weather and picked a tree perfectly suited to your local climate, it all comes down to execution. Let's walk through the 5 non-negotiable rules for planting your orchard. Number 1, timing. You want to aim for fall or early spring to completely avoid planting during those extreme heat domes or into deep frozen ground. Number 2 is spacing. You've got to ensure proper airflow to prevent disease. 3, water deeply. Skip the shallow daily sprinkles. You want infrequent, deep watering to build really strong root systems. 4, prune properly during dormancy to let that precious sunlight penetrate the canopy. And finally, rule number 5. I really want to highlight rule number 5 specifically because it is by far the most common mistake. More fertilizer does not automatically mean more fruit. Dumping excess nitrogen on your tree just tricks it into pushing out aggressive, leafy vegetative growth at the total expense of reproductive growth. Seriously, you'll just get a giant, beautiful green bush with absolutely no fruit to harvest. Always start with a soil test rather than just guessing.
Ultimately, understanding nature's most intense forces, from colliding storm fronts to relentless heat domes, allows you to work with them rather than constantly fighting against them. By matching the exact right tree to your specific climate reality, you can actually turn an atmospheric extreme into backyard abundance. Which leaves us with one powerful question for you to ponder. As our weather patterns grow more extreme, what will you choose to plant in your sunniest spot tomorrow?